I grew up there and I studied there cinema. And Slow, that I came to present here, is my second feature film. So probably that's like the basic info.
So what got you into film? Like what, as, because you said you always liked film, correct? Like as a child?
Yeah.
So what films kind of got you into this space?
Probably, from the childhood, we would mostly go to, let's say, video store that we had, not far from my home, with family, with my mother and sister, and we would just rent all kinds of films, and usually they weren't very good necessarily, but they were, whatever you can get, you just, get it and you watch it, and so watching films was always, something very special to me. And then when I became teenager, I started going to this after school kind of activity club where we would make films and we would watch films, and then I got to know more, European cinema and art house cinema, and just kind of expanded my horizons. And so probably from watching films, and also I really liked writing from when I was also quite young, and I think these things really, come together, because then I was writing, but I was writing more thinking, probably, not like a prose, but like already thinking stories and thinking about characters. So it was already a bit like writing for cinema. Yes.
And so if you could just talk a little bit about the premise of Slow and what inspired this film in particular.
Yes, so Slow is I should also present it, right? So it's a relationship story, a relationship drama, where one character is asexual and another is not, and it's basically we follow them since they meet, and how their relationship evolves and how they try to navigate that. And what made me really why I got into the story, it's even hard for me to remember now, but I think it started from characters, because I started seeing, this one person, another person, and then I kind of realized that, they belong in the same story and they belong in a relationship. And then when they are in a relationship together, there is this instant conflict in a way, because one person is very sexual and sensual, she's a dancer, so we see that this physicality is really important to her, and his job also looks quite visual and physical, because he's a sign language interpreter, but then his views on the way he looks at sexuality is very different. And for me it was just really interesting to kind of look for myself, like, is it possible, like, can they work it out, how can they work it out? So because I had a lot of questions and because I had a lot of ideas myself, that's why I was so interested in writing it. And when I started writing it, I wasn't sure how it will end. So I really enjoyed that process. It was difficult also, because then you write and then you have to solve these things. You're not sure where it will lead, but I think that then it's kind of worth writing, because you don't know where it's going.
Speaking of the characters, they have such dynamic chemistry together. Like, I felt like I was almost watching a documentary, because they fit together so well. How did the casting process go about in finding these two people and making sure that they had this chemistry?
Yeah, so it's actually so funny that you say it seemed like documentary, because sometimes we joked with actors. Sometimes they would say, like, are we shooting documentary here? Because we really tried that it would feel as real as possible. So the actress, Greta Grinevičiūtė, I had her in mind because I knew she has to be also a dancer and someone who can, also create this, really complicated role. So I knew her, I watched her in some performances, but like mainly she's a dancer and choreographer. But I knew that she can do it, and she's very like, she's so interesting to watch, and she's very, how to say, natural, but at the same time, very expressive. So we met with her, I sent her a screenplay, and basically we had a casting, but then she was like the only person that I actually casted for the role. And then when I knew she will play that character, Alana, then we were looking for a male protagonist, Dovydas, and so we had few castings with different actors, and Castas was third actor with whom we met, and I really felt that, okay, we will have a good chemistry here. But the chemistry was also something, like I knew that the chemistry we were looking for is a bit different than the chemistry you would normally look for in romantic film, because it doesn't have to be, too, let's say, sexual or too, it had to be at the same time friendly, but also romantic, but also in a way maybe a bit brotherly, sister, like something really special that you would believe that these people are really special for each other, so it was really interesting also for me to know that I am looking for chemistry, but it's not the chemistry that probably I would imagine for other kind of story.
Well, like even in the film, they were saying that like just because a traditional relationship works for some people, it doesn't work for everyone, and people should try their own things and step outside of their boxes. Like, how much do you think this film could be representative for people to know that not all relationships need to fit in this same box?
I hope that this film really helps people in general to rethink, because I think that we have so many expectations and so many things that we know it has to be like this or like this. Even in this film, when he starts talking about open relationship, she doesn't accept it very well, or they don't seem that they are very actually open to have this conversation yet. So because I also wanted to be truthful in a way that I think they are kind of people who they want to be progressive and they want to be open, but they can't always be like that, because they also have so many expectations. And even she is open, and she would be I think she would expect herself to be more open, but when it comes to her own relationship, she even says at some point, I just want everything to be normal. So I think they both are kind of looking for their place, not only in relationship but also in the world, because they feel like it's okay, something is kind of pushing them into some, I would say not boundaries, but well, maybe you understand, like stereotypes. And they would like to like he says, it doesn't work for everyone, but at the same time they do want to be like everyone. And also they don't, so I kind of wanted to capture that as well.
Okay. And then I was wondering, so the choreography and the dance sequences are gorgeous, and I feel like they very much show the sensuality and the movement of the body. How did choreographing those dance sequences come about?
So we had a really, really good choreographer, Anna Vnuk. She's a Swedish choreographer, and everything that was, connected with dance, so both professional dance sequences and dancing with teenagers, the deaf teenagers, they were choreographed by Anna. And we talked a lot with her, and even there are, these scenes between two main characters where they are kind of playing, kind of dancing, like something, having these intimate moments. They were also, we were looking like I was rehearsing, but then at the same time we were choreographing it. So I don't know, I was just really happy that the dance could kind of add more to the relationship and to the characters. So I think that I was quite open, and I said to Anna, let's say, let's do the way you want to do it, and let's see, how it looks, because I am not a choreographer, so I don't even have the language to speak so well about the dance and the movements. But I think we both understood, because she really felt the screenplay, so she really kind of knew the tone and the style. And then when I would see the scenes, we would rehearse them. We would, of course, talk to her. But but I think it helped that I really trusted her, and she really trusted, that the dancers and the story. So it was easy to work together. Because I think with choreographer, maybe a bit similar like with, composer, I think it's important to give a lot of freedom, because, and with all the creatives in the film, actually, because, they are, artists, so they can bring so much to the film. So I don't want to impose too much, let's say, from like it has to be like this or that, because I know that these people can bring so much more to the work.
And so you said that you always had a love for writing, and did you originally think that you would be a director as well? And now that you are directing and writing your own films, do you feel like working in both of those positions helps you have better creative control and also better collaboration with other artists?
Yes, I also have experience in just writing. I write with other directors as well. So it helps me, let's say, when I write with other directors, it helps me that I'm director, because I know that somewhere, I have to kind of, I know the boundaries, because I know that the director will do his own, thing anyway. But for me, writing and directing is something really, it's important for me to do both. And I used to think that, I would like to be this filmmaker who, I don't know, let's say, takes a screenplay and just directs. But then I realized, but I wouldn't be interested in that, because I'm mostly interested in writing. And then when I write, I get this idea, okay, how it should look, and then I want to work with actors, I want to look for actors, so it's the whole thing for me. Probably the biggest pleasure for me is, to really get the idea from the first, pages to the screen. And then, of course, as you say, I have much more control than, let's see, if I would just write. Because there are certain stories that I start writing, and I know that I want to make the story myself.
And do you have a most favorite memory from when you were on set
of this film? There were, in general, really nice production time, and we had so much fun. And there was a really nice. For me, I really like intimate spaces, and when I can just work with actors. So let's say we had a lot of, as you saw, we had a lot of scenes in bed where they are just lying, talking, being real close to each other. So I really like those days when we would just kind of we would be alone in the room, we would rehearse, then the whole team would come and we would shoot it. It was very cozy, and then at these moments I feel like, okay, I'm really doing the thing that I love the most, because you really feel how the scene is kind of coming together, and then watching on the monitor as well that, okay, it's working. And also we had a real nice, because we had some shooting days by the seaside, so we had just like a real nice moment with the whole crew, when we finished a bit earlier, and then we had some time, we're just hanging by the sea and digging holes of the sand, So they were really nice. A lot of nice moments, because I think that all the people who worked on this film from the beginning really believed in it, and I felt it, and they felt that I trusted them, that they trusted me. So it was just such a pleasure working.
And then I'd like to know, how does it feel to have your film premiere at Sundance, and what process did you go about to get it submitted?
it's really hard to explain this feeling, because I know that probably many people say, oh, it's a dream come true, but it is really a dream come true. And for me, Sundance was always something that, you have this dream, maybe one day you can go to Sundance, but I'm from Lithuania. It's really far away. It's a very small country. And you have these dreams, but at the same time they look impossible. And when it happens, it's really, really special. And it's really special. I'm really happy, first of all, that, the audience can watch, our work. And then because of this, they can see a lot of talented people who worked on the film. But also, to see that part of the world, to see our country, because, everything is happening in Vilnius, in Lithuania. To hear our language is just really special to kind of present it to the world. And when we found out that we were selected, we were still finishing the film.
Oh, really?
So it's not that long time ago when we really finalized everything. So it was intense, the finishing process, but I always said no, but it's the best reason to be in a hurry, and it's the best reason to be finishing it, and kind of even if it's stressful, I wouldn't want it any other way, because it was because we shot only this summer, so it's quite a short time. It's usually you kind of have more time to finish, and then there's this waiting time. When with my first film, I had a really big round of just rejections. So I had that many festivals just saying no. So you are just waiting for that final yes. So this time I think it's very different. I'm very happy.
I just want to say congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking interest and talking to me.
Of course.